Big fight for her, big return fight. I think he set it up very well. We've never had her on the program before, so let's change that right now. Let us say hello to the one and only Veronica Hardy. There she is. Hello, Veronica. How are you?
Hello, I'm all good. And you? It's a pleasure to be here. Thanks for having me.
Yes, it's a pleasure to have you. It's a very familiar background that you have right there. I feel like we just saw it. That is tremendous stuff. Very, very excited for you to come back. I know you have a very loyal fan base, as I said. What does it feel like for you? 3 years away, that's a long time. What are the emotions as we're approaching March 18th, as you're getting closer to making that walk again for the first time in 3 years, and a lot has changed in your life? How are you feeling before it?
I'm feeling so excited. Honestly, it's 3 years out is a really long time, but I felt like I needed that time to just kind of know what my style was, to adapt, to learn, to get a better grasp on what MMA was and what I was supposed to be doing in there. I kind of before would just go in there with the mentality of I'm in here for a fight, and I've learned things around around the world where I've been living, and it hasn't worked out for me because I haven't had a plan, and it's been very frustrating because I feel like I've trained so hard, and I'm like, what do I have to do? I don't understand. And to be able to just have this 3 years with Dan that is an encyclopedia of martial arts, and for him to be like, oh, I understand what you're feeling in this situation. Look at this fight, or look at this fight. Look at what he did here and how you can apply that. And just things started to make a lot more sense. So even though it's been 3 years, I feel like for the first time I understand what my role is in there. And it's amazing that it's in the O2 because we've been in the same hotel for seeing different shows, like seeing Cage Warriors, and we've been here several times. So seeing that arena, I mean, as far as visualization goes, that's as best as you're gonna get.
Yeah, I wonder, during the pandemic and the lockdowns and all that, like you had a guru living with you, right? I mean, it must have felt like you had like this whole like reintroduction into the sport and learned so much. Like for a lot of people, probably a lonely, depressing time, but for you, I could just see you guys staying up super late, watching all kinds of things. You got your gym there, right? Like in a way, kind of a blessing, right?
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I did initially come to England to really learn MMA 10 years ago, but Dan was not in the country. So it was technically his fault that I had to travel
This
all
is all
over,
his
and
fault.
then came down like, yeah, and I came back to find him, and first instinct was correct because he did. I always felt like he was someone who kind of understood. Like I felt a lot of like connection to it because it was traditional martial arts and going to different places and having to sort of piece it together and not really understanding. And he's such a smart fighter and a smart person. And I'm like, if somebody can be my like Mr. Miyagi, it's gonna be Dan Hardy.
I love it. Now, why 3 years away? Like, why didn't you return sooner?
Well, I had concussion issues before my last fight. I had several in a month, and I wasn't feeling that great. Yeah, I wasn't feeling that great, and I kept trying to push past it, and it just made it worse. So it took about the first 6 months of me to stop training, which was pretty difficult because I kept wanting to be like, well, maybe if a fight comes up, I can take it on short notice and I can do it. And I had to have a Dan go like, listen, stop. You need to slow down. You need to stop. And this is not a bad thing. This is a great thing. Now you get to learn and not go back in there with doing the same mistakes and being yeah, just doing the same mistakes, like learn from it, take this time that it will eventually make you better. And I've always felt like I've been running out of time. I'm like, yeah, athletes should be at their peak at 21. And then if I'm not doing that, then I'm like, I'm behind. And now I look back and I feel a bit, I wish I would have done this sooner.
Mm. Well, you're still very young and you still have a hell of a lot of fighting left to do. You are from originally Venezuela, correct? How does someone, you don't hear of a lot of Venezuelans get into MMA. I don't even know if there's like, how many have ever fought in the UFC? Are you the only one?
Well, there's another one on the card actually.
There is.
First time in the UFC. It's Omar Morales.
Wow. Yes, that's right. That's right. Well, how does someone,
Yeah.
there's not a ton of you. That's the point. How does someone from Venezuela
No,
even
no.
get into this?
Well, I was born in Venezuela, and then I lived in America for for a while, for like 11 years, and then moved around. But I managed to get into the UFC based on a canceled fight that I had while living in Europe. It's not very easy, and majority of the fighters have also had a similar experience. Like Piera, another Venezuelan fighter, she's a strawweight, and she's traveled, been in Spain, been training around, and got the opportunity. And Eric Silva is another Venezuelan fighter who trained in Costa Rica. Most of them had, well, all of them really had to leave the country and train somewhere else in order to get this opportunity to come to you, because Venezuela is also going through a lot of just country issues. Like life there is very difficult right now, and just to get anything done is quite challenging. So it's cool because I have been there and I've trained there, and I've seen that there's a lot of talent, there's a lot of people that are training hard, and me and more Venezuelans joining in kind of gives them that hope to continue training. And sometimes getting those messages really, when you feel like why am I still doing this, or what's the point? And you read that, you're like, it's for them. It's to help grow this, because I feel like that's the point of this for me.
How many different gyms or training camps have you been a part of in your? Because I feel like you've been a bit of a nomad, right?
Yeah. It's funny because Dan and I do the Pigs podcast on UFC fights, and there's a few comments that are like, I feel like every time a fighter comes up,
Yeah.
Veronica said that she's trained with him.
Yes, yes.
And yeah, and today I was having breakfast, and one of the fighters, I'm like, oh, I've trained with you in Brazil, and oh, I've trained with you there. And that's been absolutely great, because I've been able to gather so much experience and learn new techniques and stuff. But when you only get that and you don't have a home base to kind of filter it out and kind of see what works for you and when to apply it, it becomes a bit chaotic and just kind of too much. So yeah, in total I've lived in 12 countries,
Wow.
and I've been to about 40.
Wow. 12. Can you name them off the top of
Yeah.
your head, the 12?
The 12 that I lived in Venezuela, America. I've lived in Canada,
Which part?
Vancouver.
Vancouver. Nice.
Yeah. Portugal. I've lived in Spain. I lived in Poland. I lived in Germany. I lived in Belgium. I lived in Holland. What am I missing?
France?
Yes, I've lived in France. I'm stuck now.
I mean, that is impressive in its own.
I'm stuck there.
Asia? Ever?
I'm sure I'll remember later.
Did you live in Asia ever?
No, no. I've only been to Korea once.
Okay.
That was amazing.
Wow. What a journey. By the way, what is this jacket that you're wearing?
Oh, with a stolen jacket.
Wow.
Well, it's not stolen because we're married. So
Yes.
what's his is mine.
I love it. I love it.
Pretty cool, right?
That is cool. And okay, so this is what I was building towards, Veronica. This is what I was building towards. I think you and I are like two of the most famous Nottingham Forest fans. With all due respect to Dan, he kind of comes in and out. I know Paul Daly, a fan as well. But I was talking to Dan, and he told me that like you're not just some fair weather fan. You're all in. You've been to games. I have visual evidence, photographic evidence of you going with his dad. I believe his parents have been longtime season ticket holders. We're showing some of the photos here. I see a photo of you and Brennan with the Brennan Johnson picture, my personal favorite. My son is. You're a huge Nottingham Forest supporter?
Yeah, I love it. The atmosphere there is amazing. So that's the first time I went to a football match.
Wow.
And like a live one. And to go with his dad, it was crazy. He was, he gave me the full experience. We were super early. And just the chant, I cried.
Really?
It just gives you so much emotion. It's incredible to be able to do that. And to think, to be one of those athletes out there and looking up and seeing the crowd just chanting for you. And they're like, come on, you Reds.
Yes.
It's great.
It's amazing. Even watching
Honestly,
their away
it's
games and you hear the fans are louder than the home fans, right? Like on TV, the support is just, it just makes you want to root for them even more, at least me.
Oh, absolutely. It's incredible. I mean, the atmosphere is so unique. I've never experienced anything like that.
And so now you watch the games on television, even like you're all in.
Yeah, I'm all in. I'm looking to go on one of their next home games.
Oh my gosh.
We're back home. trying to see which one that is because
Okay.
they play on Friday, right? Against
Yes,
Newcastle.
against Newcastle, massive one. Rumor around town is they're even following you on social media now. I mean, I feel like we're trying to make something happen here for you. I want a public shout out from the Nottingham Forest social media team to you. I've seen them shout other fighters out, Lee Wood in particular. You deserve that love too.
That'd be awesome. I send it straight to his parents, and they're like, "No way."
You've been a fan for like a
Like, yeah,
year,
don't worry.
and they're season ticket holders for years, and they can't get that kind of love. But that's just the way it goes. It would be great if you could walk out with the jersey, but unfortunately, we have the Venom stuff. Yeah. What do you think it's going to be?
Very unfortunately.
Yes,
Well, I mean, the shoes also have some red.
that is
If
true.
you're into blood, sweat, and what respect.
Something like
Yeah.
that. Yes. What do you think? Can I ask you the same question that I asked Dan? Like, what do you think it will be like to have your husband in your corner on Saturday?
Would to have Dan in the corner, you feel like you can take on the world.
Right.
I mean, if it goes down, he's crazy.
Yeah.
It just, yeah, it feels amazing, especially in England, especially in a place that I came originally to do MMA and to have him, and it's incredible. It's incredible. I honestly, I can't wait. I've thought about what it has felt like, but I just think when I get there, it won't even come close to the feeling I'll have.
Sure. And by the way, his story of how you guys like first met, is that accurate? Because there's usually two sides to the story. Is it 100% how it went down, or is there a different version?
Oh my God, it's worse.
Wow, it's worse than that. Where were you, stalking him or something?
I mean, a little bit. As you said, I did come in like 10 years ago to try and train with him.
Wow. Oh,
but I didn't stalk him that way.
okay.
That was just more like a admiration training wise.
Sure.
I didn't really think I had a chance, to be honest. So.
Wow. Wait, so
I didn't think about it.
You came to England to actually specifically train with him?
Yeah, train with him. To train with the Rough House team and train with Dan Hardy because he was.
Wow. That's wild.
And I was right. Took me an additional 7 years to find him.
That is amazing. I didn't realize it was specifically for that. That is an incredible story. By the way, what is this necklace that you're wearing?
Oh, it's a Moldavite necklace.
And what does that mean?
Also, my engagement ring is Moldavite.
Okay. What does that mean? What
It's
does
a
that
meteorite.
represent? It's a meteorite.
Well, this is a meteorite that fell, I think, 15 million years ago, and the reaction caused like glass to freeze up, and they have pieces, and it's all been mined. It's from the Czech Republic.
Okay.
So 3 years ago, fight week, Dan gave me my first piece, and it was shaped like an angel wing and stuff. And yeah, I've gotten so much of a love for it since.
Wow.
We both wear it all the time. Here, I'll show you his.
Okay.
He wears it in a Thai amulet that's covered around with UFC canvas, and if you see it through the light, it's amazing.
Wow. Is it supposed to give you like some kind of special power?
I don't know, but it's done good for me so far. So
Okay.
I'm not going to say no.
Yes. Stick with it. Juliana Miller, someone that they're high on. She won the Ultimate Fighter. I know she's a big favorite going into this fight. Do you feel like you are being overlooked? Do you feel like they're trying to use you as a stepping stone? What's your sense of, your spot in this particular fighting card?
Yeah, I know I'm not the favorite, but honestly, if I was watching it from the outside in, I don't think I would say I would pick myself in this fight, right? It's like, oh, she's been out 3 years. She's not had great results in the UFC. She tends to do crazy things and gets herself in trouble. Based on that, I understand. It's not like I'm upset about it. I just don't think that's going to be the case.
Okay.
Because, yeah, it's been 3 years, but what have I done in these 3 years to change that thing and for that not to be what is going to happen? So let them think what they want, in my opinion, and we'll see on Saturday.
I love it. I also love. It seems like the English accent is starting to break through there. I'm sure you hear this from other people, right? It's like an interesting mix of all these different accents. But I hear the English one like poking out there.
Yeah, my sister now calls me. She's like, "Would you like a cup of tea?"
Yeah. I mean, it's perfect. It's perfect. You're fully entrenched.
Yeah. My Spanish is the same because I've been from place to place. I'm Venezuelan, but my Spanish is the biggest mixture of different places, and it's nice that my English is also a giant mixture of places.
It's going to be a big weekend. Forest going to beat Newcastle on Friday. Veronica Hardy returns to the UFC after 3 years with her husband, the legend, by her side, getting the big win, shocking everyone. I wish you the best. Lovely to have you on the show for the first time. Enjoy the rest of the fight week. Hope you have a good, easy weight cut, all that stuff, and then a fantastic performance on Saturday. All the best to you, Veronica. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
All right, there she is, Veronica Hardy, joining us as she gets set to make her long-awaited UFC return.